This story came through to me on my Newsbreak app, and when I looked at the title alone, it literally made me hop up and say, wow. Like, I literally yelled that out loud when I read it. So, y'all know how, with everything going on with the virus and, inmates, they said that they would do some leniency for non-violent criminal offenses. Well, in this case, they completely dropped the ball. So this story is coming out of Virginia, where you have this man by the name of Ibrahim Bouachi. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm probably butchered it, but it doesn't really matter considering what he just did. But this man was in jail on a rape charge, on a rape crime. Well, due to the virus, back in April, this man was released from jail on April 9th. So we're about almost a month in with the quarantining. Well, they made a fatal mistake, literally a fatal one, because what happened at the end of July was this guy found the woman that accused him of rape and he killed her. I said, are you kidding me? I said, the state of Virginia failed that woman. The state should be held responsible for that, or whatever prison allow him to, be released. But that's a statewide thing. They need to be held responsible for that. And the thing is, it makes you wonder, did they even let this woman know that he was getting out of prison? Because usually if something like this happens, the one who is doing the accusing or a witness of some kind usually is notified when the person that they testified against or accused of a crime that they were found guilty of usually gets notified of something like that. If they didn't even tell her that he was getting out of jail, then they definitely failed her. And I don't think they did, because this guy got released in April. It's not like he got released in July and killed her in July. He got released in April and then killed her months later. Which means he probably went looking for her. Let me go ahead and read this article. A Virginia rape suspect who was released from jail because of concerns regarding the virus went on to kill the woman who had accused him. The Washington Post was first to report that Ibrahim Bouachi shot and killed the woman in late July after he was released April 9th, according to the newspaper and Alexandria police. Alexandria, that's real close. That's not far from me. Alexandria from me is probably a good 20 to 30 minutes away. So this actually hit really close to home. Bouachi was indicted last year on charges that included rape, strangulation, and abduction. The woman, who police identified as Carla Elizabeth Dominguez Gonzalez, testified against him in Alexandria District Court in December. He was jailed without bond in Alexandria until the pandemic hit. Bouachi's lawyers argued that he should be freed awaiting trial because the virus endangered inmates and their attorneys. He was released on a $25,000 bond over the objections of a prosecutor. They need to hold his attorneys responsible. Everybody who's involved with this individual needs to be held responsible. Start with the attorneys. Circuit Court Judge Nolan Dawkins released Bouachi on the condition that he only leave his Maryland home. So he lived in Maryland. I wonder which part he lived in. That he only leave his Maryland home to meet with his lawyers or pretrial services officials. He is accused of killing Gonzalez on July 29th. On Tuesday, police published a statement stating they were looking for Bouachi, whom they described as armed and dangerous. Authorities said Wednesday that federal marshals and Alexandria police spotted and pursued Bouachi in PG County. Now that is home for me, where he crashed his vehicle and apparently shot himself. As of Thursday, he is in grave condition. Well, if he's near death, then, the danger is most likely over. But the fact of the matter is, he was a danger that should not have been released. Meanwhile, Dawkins retired in June. He did not respond to the Washington Post request for comment. Who was this Dawkins person? Oh, the circuit court judge that released him. Figures, you get out of there after you do the dirty deed. Bouachi's attorneys Manuel Leyva and Frank Salvato said in a statement that they were certainly saddened by the tragedy both families have suffered here. Hold on. Y'all was the ones that pressed to get him out of jail. Y'all are just as at fault as he is. I could have sworn they said that when it came to this virus, only non-violent criminals are allowed to be released. Yet it's crazy that they have Bill Cosby in jail on hearsay. And what can he possibly do at his age and being legally blind and him needing help? But you got this guy right here who actually raped and damn near killed a woman the first time and then was released from prison only to find her and actually finish what he started. Let me continue. The lawyers said they were looking forward to trial. Unfortunately, the pandemic continued the trial date by maybe they meant to say delayed the trial date by several months, and we didn't get the chance to put forth our case. They failed that woman. Her blood is literally on the state's hands. If I was her family, I would sue the state of Virginia or the city of Alexandria. For real. Whatever I can possibly to do, because I think they have a very strong, solid case here. Just on the fact of that alone. They said he wasn't allowed to leave his Maryland home, and the fact that they said that they found his car crashed in PG County means that this guy right here was in very close proximity to me, which means for all intents and purposes, I could have seen this guy, but never knew who the hell he was. Not saying that I've ever seen him before, because I run into a lot of people, but I'm just saying. But they didn't specify where in PG County he was at. PG County is a pretty big county, so he could have been just about anywhere. But the fact of the matter is, he could have been spotted by anybody, but we didn't know who he was because I never heard of this case. This case is brand new to me. But I do offer my condolences to this woman's family. Like I told you, they completely and utterly failed this woman. Her family needs to sue the state. And forgive me for feeling insensitive, but I don't give a damn about his family. Like, why am I supposed to feel sad? Why are you feeling sad about both families? You are feeling sad for a family who had a son who was a rapist and now a murderer. And like a coward, he wants to try to off himself so he can avoid the consequences. And see, what he probably was only going to be, who knows, I don't know how long his jail sentencing was for the initial crime, but he probably tried to kill himself because he knew his life was over after doing what he did. This man was on a manhunt to go find this woman, and he found her. Like I said, you got to think. He got out of jail in April, but he probably wouldn't have been able to find her because of quarantine and everything being locked down. So he would have been an easy target, to be spotted. So he had to wait until everything opened back up. Well, not everything, but most things, so he could blend in. But this right here, now this was a miscarriage of justice right here, for real.